Hi, everyone. Carmel Sullivan here, Heart to Heart Medium. So today I am talking about manifestation. And manifesting is the ways that you bring things that of your highest power to you, you draw them towards you, and you can achieve a lot of interesting things. So today is my daughter is here with us, Kat O'Sullivan. Say hi, Kat. She is probably one of the most powerful manifestors I know. And she manifested her business partner, Delaney Geyer. Is that correct, Delaney? Did I say your last name correctly? Pardon?
Yes, correct.
Oh, good. Good. So these two girls have an amazing story. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves and listen to how they're going to be creating their own path to creativity, to success, and to their passion. So, who wants to go first?
Delaney's got it. I'll go first. Hi, I'm Delaney Geyer. I live in LA. I graduated with my BFA in musical theater from the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music, which is more well known as CCM in the musical theater community. And that was in 2020, the cursed year. So had just the worst luck and graduated with a degree in musical theater the year that Broadway shut down for the first time in history for a long extended period of time ever. And so that was not ideal, obviously. But
Definitely a challenge. And I was somebody who had always had my life completely planned out exactly the way that I knew I wanted it, was type A, did all the right things, and then realized very quickly the day I graduated that you can do all the right things, and sometimes life leads you in a completely different path. So instead of moving to New York like I was supposed to, I ended up moving to LA because of the pandemic and have just built a life that I love here. Thankfully, was able to sign with a bi-coastal agent, which is A3. They used to be Abrams. They're this amazing agency. I'm lucky to be with them as an actor. And I've just been flying back and forth to New York for callbacks and auditions and things, but really have created like this life that I want here. And so in the last couple of years, I've really learned a lot about myself and learned a lot about being open to new experiences that you would have no idea would be on the table. And so how Kat and I met is actually hilarious because my roommate, Derek, here in LA, who's also an actor, got a show in a different state and was moving for the month. So I was like, I'm going to have this place to myself. The bachelorette pad is going to be great. And then about 2 weeks into him being gone, he said, hey, a friend of a friend is looking for a place in LA. And I kind of offered my room to her. And I was like, what? And I was like, this is going to all fall on my shoulders. This is going to be a whole thing for me. And I was so not excited about it. But my mom, very wise, Mary Geyer, said, you know, you never know who could move in. Truly. She could be your best friend. And I said, okay. Already.
and I said, okay, sure. Like, all right, sure.
Yeah, Mom, sure.
And then she moved in, and 2 days later, we're embarking on this journey together. So that's kind of how I got here.
Yeah. Wow, that was a really good intro. It's a lot to live up to.
Okay, Kat, you got it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, hi, my name is Kat, as both of you know. I graduated high school early. I was always like on the fast track, just like definitely running with my feet, barely underneath me. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to be successful and I'm going to be a business person. So I'm going to go do internships before college. Cause obviously I can't start college late. Cause like, that's just, couldn't be me. Right. And so I graduate high school early and I go to Boulder and I wake up one day and I'm like, you know what? I should graduate college early because I was like, I'm not passionate about what I'm doing. I want to move to LA. Like that was my idea in the back of my head at the time. And granted, I was like 19 years old. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to, pursue LA. But I have to finish college first. So I've been given this beautiful opportunity So I study real estate and entrepreneurship, and I end up graduating in like 2.5 years. And I graduate as well into the pandemic. And I'm like, okay, well, no one's moving to LA at this point in time. I don't know how to be an actor at all. I'm not trained in anything. And I have this whole life set up in terms of real estate. And so I end up pursuing real estate for a little bit, like my degree had spoken. So I was, trying to sell houses. I never sold a house. I have to preface with, maybe I would have stayed. And
thank God you didn't.
Thank God. And I wake up one day, I start bartending, and I wake up one day and I'm like, I love bartending because it's like performing, right? It's this beautiful, like, artistic expression in this crazy world. And it makes me realize just how much I cannot stand doing residential real estate. And so
I get it.
I'm like, you know what? I don't know what it's going to look like. I have to find out who I am because it's not the girl that I've created. And so I blow up my life. I quit my job, get COVID the same day.
I didn't know that.
It was really bad, actually. So yeah, I quit my job, get COVID the same day. I embark on this whole figuring out who I am while simultaneously trying to fix my back. I had broken my spine. And so in that, though, I was like having to pause for the first time in my life because I'd always been on this run situation. And now for the first time, I can't even work a normal job because my back is in so much pain. So, I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, please just like, let me know what I should do with my life. And I accidentally write a song about if Athena and Medusa were talking after some things that happened in Medusa's storyline. And I was like, oh my God, this should be a musical. And so I start telling everybody that I went to, college with, very serious businesswoman, I'm writing a musical. And they're like, okay. And so for an entire year, I'm like, I'm writing a musical. And I accidentally moved to Arizona. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I need a buddy. I need someone that believes in this with me and like to help me take it. Because I can't be the lead. I can't do this alone. I need a creative visionary with me because I want it to be like a community story because it's a story that's been shared by so many women. And that was the precedence behind writing it. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go where the wind takes me. So I moved to Arizona. I get a call to move to Arizona or to San Diego and do residential real estate. And it's in a much prettier package than real estate had been in before. And so I'm like, yeah, maybe this is it. Maybe I do real estate. And it was just the realization of, no, not even if it's, a great gig. And so I randomly tell my friend, maybe I want to move to LA, but I wouldn't want to commit fully. I don't want to sign a lease anywhere. And she goes, let me text my bestie. She texts her bestie, and that happens to be Delaney's bestie, who was moving out right as my contract was ending down in San Diego. And so I was like, you know what? I'll move in with a stranger in LA and see if I like it. And I honestly didn't think I was gonna. There's the influencer lifestyle, and that's not very much me. And I kind of had a lot of Delaney knows. I moved in, and I was like, "Am I gonna get murdered here?" I was just really afraid.
And I said, "We live in Beverly Hills."
Yeah. And I was like, "No, Delaney, like I'm worried about my car. Like I'm worried about everything." And we really
probably helped you with that fear factor. So I have to say,
you were texting me articles about how people are dying in LA.
As a mother, it's very hard because I lived in LA and I have an LA attitude. So when I get to LA, guess what I do first? Get in the car and lock all the doors. And then
she's never used her blinker ever.
Well, LAans don't use their blinker.
She's LA.
I'm an LA girl with a Colorado attitude now.
That's good.
So let me ask you, I think it's really interesting. So Kat was telling me about Delaney and I'm like, oh, she sounds so cute and ... And when I heard your voice, when you sang that first song, Stone Cold Killer, and I've been putting this out on my Facebook page, they have it on TikTok. They're putting out a ton of TikToks. So the interesting thing is the Stone Cold Killer song, I heard your voice and I almost thought it was Kat's. And I'm like, no, it likes like Kat's, but you have an amazing voice. So
thank you so much. Thank you.
And then I had to ask you a question. It's like, how did you get your name when we first talked? And I thought Delaney's a very different name. I know another girl named Delaney, by the way. Mm-hmm. And what it means, well, you told me, go ahead.
Yeah, basically
I'm named after a song, and that already has been a thing in my family, that I'm the musical one of the family, and was named after a Jimmy Buffett song, actually, called Delaney Talks to Statues. It's about his daughter. And
Delaney Talks to Statues and Medusa.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. I think that's a manifestation or something that's a clear sign.
Definitely. There's just been so many clear signs. Since we have begun this journey together, it's 5 minutes, insane. It feels like we run into something, or we see like a truck that says Medusa's trucking or whatever it is. Like, we've seen all of these crazy signs.
Paying attention.
Oh my gosh. When we went to buy a keyboard.
Crazy.
To finish writing a lot of the music for the show. And go ahead.
Oh yeah. So it's our first like business meeting day. Like, cause we had sat down and I kind of told Delaney what I was doing, and she was like, "Can I do it with you?" And I was like, "Oh my God, you're Medusa." I was like, "This is it." And so we have this like big business meeting day. Like, we sit down, we go to lunch, and then we're like, "We need a piano. Like, let's just go pick it up." So we go to like the Sunset Hard Rock. Wait, no.
Guitar Center.
It's this huge guitar center, and we're like, "Wow, I wonder how many people have like began their journey in LA here, like gone to pick up, an instrument." And we are talking to this guy who's helping us, and I noticed a snake ring, and I was like, "Oh, is that a snake ring?" And he was like, "Yeah, do you have one?" And I was like, "Oh, no." And he was like, "Well, why do you ask?" And I was like, "Well, we're writing a musical about Medusa." And then he turns his back to us and goes on a 5-minute tangent about what our story is. And he was like, "Yeah, you guys should do that." And then just like didn't miss a beat and like moved on.
He knew the entire story the way that we're telling it.
It was unbelievable. And
Bizarre.
He was like, "Yeah, like you guys should do that." And then we saw like on the concrete leading to the car, there was like Athens, Greece, or something, like just like different things that were like relating to the musical. And I was like super freaked out. Delaney was super freaked out.
Yeah,
we kept seeing like, angel numbers, and we were like, okay, this is a good sign.
Yeah. Signs are always important, and they keep you moving forward if you look for them. I just love that.
We're looking at.
So you have another job, is that correct?
I do have another job, yes.
And how is that working in? You want to tie that one in?
It's also crazy. So I wrote this musical, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it the first musical NFT. And it turns out, in order to understand the world of NFTs, you have to understand blockchain, and then DeFi and crypto and all of the other building blocks around this, like, because NFTs are essentially like the second wave of Web3. So you have to understand the first wave. So I was like, I'm theoretically retired with my back injury. Like, I'll just deep dive into this crazy tech world that I don't really understand yet. And I ended up loving it, and I couldn't shut up about it. And I started like investing in crypto and being like, you know what, this musical has to be an NFT. And so that ended up, my friend called me one day because I was looking for a job, and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't want to go back to corporate. And he was like, I got a job at this company. I love it. I think you would love it. And funny enough, you've been studying Web3 for long enough. I think you could actually get a job here. And so lo and behold, I work for a Web3 company, and our business model is to eventually turn our product into an NFT. We have some fun things planned as well. So it definitely tied in. And it was also just crazy that's how that happened.
I just think everything happens at the right time, and divine timing is always important, especially when you want to be successful. Timing is everything. So with this, what is your timing on do you have a time set, or are you just kind of going with the flow? Tell me what the story is on that.
Yeah. Basically, our plan for the next 3 months is to build a community around the musical to get people excited about it, so that when we do start launching the NFT side of things, we already have a community built that is excited to be a part of it. And
that's amazing.
Creating this, basically we're trying to do musical theater in a completely different way than it's ever been done before, because musical theater can be an incredibly exclusive community where tickets are $350. You have to be able to fly to New York to see a Broadway show. You have to do all these things. And we're basically trying to bring musical theater to a new platform and a new way of collaborating to create the process of musical theater, to bringing it to a new generation.
Yeah.
So for the next 3 months, basically, we're building this community, and then
we're rallying the troops. Because
how are you rallying? Tell me what you're doing to get the energy moving, because I believe everything is energy.
Yeah, we've started our TikTok campaign. So we are posting 4 TikToks a day, building this community, gaining followers, gaining people's interest in collaborating on the project with us. We really want it to be an open dialogue with people too. So we've really started to make that clear in our content, that if you're a costume designer, if you're a set designer, if you do graphic designs, if you're a dancer, if you're a choreographer, we want you to be a part of this. We want you to collaborate with us on this, instead of it just being this exclusive avenue for making art.
Yeah, because something really beautiful that's kind of happened as soon as like Delaney and I joined forces was I knew that I could only bring the musical so far, and that it was very much a framework. And just having Delaney come in and be like, well, we need to do this, we're going to change this, and us being able to brainstorm together has been such a beautiful moment. And we expanded that to our composer Kenny, who is beautiful, and you guys are going to love him. Nice. But we want to open those doors for other people to come and join us as well, because collaboration is what makes a project beautiful, especially when it's a story other people believe in.
Well, we're all connected in this world, and if people feel connected to a storyline, it grows amazingly, and people want to help. You guys are kind of like the yin and the yang of each other, kind of in a weird way. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah,
you're helping each other.
Agree.
So, TikTok, what are you calling musical again?
I'll let Delaney take this.
It's called Stone Cold, and we came to that title because the show. Medusa's story has been told basically incorrectly this whole time. So with this musical, we're trying to set the record straight. She was actually, she wasn't this monster. She was actually a survivor. And she was this beautiful young girl who was basically a nun. And because she was the most beautiful girl in Athens, she was sexually assaulted by the god of the sea, Poseidon. And so she is this survivor. And then Athena blessed her basically with this protection of the turning men to stone, of the snakes, to protect her so that never happens to her again. So Stone Cold, we wanted something that would initially describe a monster, right? So it's a stone cold monster, but that's actually, it's not about Medusa, who we're talking about. It's the predator, it's the assaulter, it's the aggressor in the situation that is actually stone cold. And so that's it's this double meaning.
It's kind of like a double entendre.
Yeah, totally.
And I think there's people to stone, so.
I love the name. I do think, I didn't know the storyline. Kat told me the storyline, and she let me read a little bit of the script. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It felt so, God, I don't know it just felt so emotional. So, and I could feel the characters, and I could see the characters. And as a person who loves reading, I'm a book enthusiast, and I love plays, by the way. And I think Kat was born to do this because she's always loved. She would put theater music on instead of putting a band on or something. And I'm like, what are we listening to while we're driving? Oh, it's a theater song. Okay. What is your hopes and dreams and fears on this project? Because I think everybody has hopes, fears, and dreams. So give me your fears first. What you have to kind of jump through hoops to get to, and then tell me what you think it's going to look like at the end.
So evidently, this is a really big undertaking, and our ultimate goal with this is to change the entire landscape of musical theater. And Delaney and I are both very young. And it's
guys. Wait, give us your ages. Give us your ages.
I'm 24.
And I'm 22. So we're both, we're young, and this is an undertaking in which neither of us, we both are familiar with the realm of musical theater, and we both have that business mindset. However, this is huge. And it's really intimidating in that sense. And I think there's a lot of just fear in pursuing something that is meaningful to you, because, you know, it's like in dating. You date someone you don't really like, you don't really care if they leave. But if you date someone you love, if they leave, it's, you know, it can be crushing. And so I think there's that same fear of, well, if this doesn't work out and we really pour our hearts and souls into it, it's going to be a big blow to us. But we debrief, you know, we do little debriefs.
And I think my fear with it comes from the excitement of it as well, of just like, if this gets as big as we believe that it can be, we are playing with the big dogs in the Web3 space as well as in the musical theater space. And that's a big undertaking. That's a scary concept. So I think it's just like keeping our cool and knowing that this is something that we know what we're doing, and we are passionate, and we are young, but we really have this vision for what royalties can look like for artists through the use of NFTs. And we really think that we can make a difference with this. And then, speaking of making a difference, just the show, it's like, it's about something so important. It's about shining light on the survivor story, and not hiding and shying away from telling survivors' narratives. And so I think that, like, we are dealing with some pretty big things, and if all goes according to plan, we can really make some change.
Yeah, I think we just feel it's scary.
I do feel that you guys are going to be successful, and I'm sure you're going to have your leaps and bounds and hoops to jump through, but don't get discouraged. And because this is a jumping off platform for you both. And I just feel like there's too many signs not to, but now, of course, I'm a little bit attached to the situation. So it's hard to read people as a medium psychic. We never read family members because it's hard to do that, because you have your own view shed. And so I'm just going to pull a card and just to see what it says. Like, is that okay, girls?
Yes, I would love that. By all means.
Inner peace, baby. Go into the inner peace and trust. So look there's two koi fish. Do you see that? And koi is koi fish. It's luck. It's about digging deep, finding the inner peace. And I love that there's two, because that you're two together working on this as a team, as one. And I do feel the more you work on it, the more you believe, the more you're going to get your breaks. I also feel that within a couple of years, you're going to have this huge smile on your faces, like a high-fiving going on. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, NFT, some people don't know what NFT is. So, and I didn't. Kat had to explain it to me. So I'm going to have you guys explain that whole system of what it means when you say you want people to
right over to Kat. Love it. So basically, so the whole concept of the movement of Web3, I'll back up to that, is decentralizing different spaces. So basically, an NFT is intended to decentralize the creative space and intellectual property. And so at its core, an NFT, and people joke that it's just a JPEG, it's a right to ownership. So it's written into the blockchain. A blockchain is basically just a place where data is stored and chains of ownership. So, and it's fully transparent. It's held on a public ledger. So if I were to sell Delaney an apple, that would be written into the blockchain coding. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. So it can be intangible. But basically where we see our story going is, backing it up a little bit, sorry. It's always hard to portray. An NFT can be anything. The first wave we've seen has been people and their art, which has been a really beautiful moment. But there's definitely becoming art in different offerings with more value propositions and benefits to the owner, as opposed to owning something and people assigning value. And so our goal is to have a very usable NFT that also provides value to its owners. So it can, in NFTs, we'll see tickets, things like that. Our goal is to rebuild a royalty structure so that artists get back their due payments, because there's a lot of issues in the royalty space right now.
There's a lot of middlemen that through doing it in the blockchain could be cut out.
Exactly. So we really want to take away the middlemen in the creative space.
Would that give more money to the artists who created and who participated? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What about when you say, for instance, someone buys a non-fungible token, what does that give them?
So a way that she explained it to me, which was very helpful, was that if you're playing The Sims, let's say, and you buy with sim money that could be real money, you buy clothes for your sim, or you buy things for their house. And so it doesn't mean anything necessarily in the real world, but it's the idea that you have it. It's so that you can show that you own this, that you have this thing. And basically what this new wave of NFTs is doing is, how do we bring utility to those things instead of just having it be something virtual? What can we do? If you buy our NFT, if you buy our sim dress, do you get tickets to our opening night? Do you get conversations on Zoom with us? Do you get to be a part of the process? Do you get ways into our creative process? Do you get to be a costume designer, giving us all these ideas? So it's really kind of, we're giving utility to something that doesn't necessarily have it.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Delaney said it best.
So,
sometimes I can say it well, sometimes I cannot.
well, I think it's important to understand it. And I think people like the elders like me going, what? But the more you can explain it in a way that makes sense, like you just did. And so say the play is very highly successful. So did somebody who invested in the NFT, do they get a little bit of the profit too?
Yeah. So our goal
of the other, accoutrements.
Yeah. So another big portion of this is that shows are really expensive to put on, and we're not exactly sure what the final product of our musical is going to look like. However, we know it's going to be pricey. And so that's also a reason that, musical theater has been so gatekept, is because there's only so few people with that deep of pockets, and you have to know them to get your show funded. So I think our goal is to have something people believe in and be able to invest in, whether it be $5, $10 to, like $100,000, and actually have it be an investment to get us to stage, and then also to see something that they believe in and get a return on their initial investment.
Okay.
So sorry,
that's what I wanted to understand. If there was going to be like everything's a risk anytime you put money in, but there is a basic, you can probably make a return in any type of NFT if done right.
The ultimate goal is to have utility and return as well.
Where do you see the play playing? Is it all over cities, small places, large places? What's the story on that?
Yeah, so that's been up for debate for us because we have this idea about decentralization, and a part of that is not having geographic limitations. So this is something that we've been in discussion about. We have ideas as to whether or not we should make it a movie musical if we get the proper funding and the right, interest.
Or limited series or whatever that is. Basically just trying to bring musical theater, like we said, to everyone, to a new generation, to people that normally wouldn't go to the theater.
I love
how
that.
can we tell this story for them too?
And we're even, debating doing licensing to smaller theaters and have it be funded by the investing group, TBD as to what that's going to look like, but being able to put it on in local theaters, fully supported, so the story gets told, and then also we continue to build that community around it and bring musical theater to everybody. Oh,
I love it. So what's your next plan of action? Right now you're on TikTok. What is the TikTok handle?
Stone Cold Musical is the TikTok handle. And actually we have an interesting couple of 3 weeks. So Delaney has a big undertaking this next month.
Yeah, I leave on Monday for St. Louis. I'm doing Sweeney Todd there for 3 weeks. So I'm going to be in the hot St. Louis sun for 3 weeks. So we are actually basically putting our thought process to the test with this. We are trying to decentralize this, and we believe that we can accomplish still everything we need to accomplish while I'm gone doing this other theater contract, and while Kat's also working her other job. So I'll be gone. I'll be out of town for the next 3 weeks. But we have
probably do TikToks, right? You could still do TikToks, but have different.
Oh, don't worry. We have been filming left and right for TikTok. So we have tons of content stored up. We're ready for all of our launches. We're ready for everything. So we've got it all planned out.
And Delaney's definitely underselling. She's performing at the biggest outdoor amphitheater in the country for the MUNY. So she's going to be in the heat. She's going to be doing some really big things. So it's super exciting.
Your makeup off as you sing.
Exactly. No. It'll be fun. It's like 11,000 seats in the theater. So it'll be kind of crazy.
And it's a really big honor too. So she's definitely being humble. This is a really awesome show for her. So
I can understand why you're doing. Your voice is amazing and your energy is so good.
Thank you.
And I just think it's going to be. I love watching you two do this. I love watching the TikTok. So of course I'm a little obsessive. I'm the mom, but in the same sort, I love seeing women and men do something and challenge themselves and do something that's outside their bounds to make them feel uncomfortable, but yet passionate. And that's what I think you guys are doing. And I believe that people who are most successful are people who do things that they see a bigger picture. It's going to be uncomfortable getting there, but they have the passion to get it through. And I feel like there will be success with both of you girls. Always keep communication open is what I would say as a,
definitely.
Yeah. And I think you guys are going to do great. What would you say to others thinking about taking a big step and a big leap of faith? Because you're really doing a leap of faith.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that has truly never been done before. So I think that my advice is just to go before you're ready. Just go before you're ready.
Jump, don't look.
Yeah, because we would never, if we were waiting until we were ready 100% for this, we would miss our opportunity.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And
somebody else would be doing it.
Exactly. And we're figuring it out as we go, and we are learning so much, and we are just gaining so much information, and we're getting more and more excited. And every person we've talked to about it, everybody we've pitched it to has met us with just complete excitement and complete belief in us. And so we know we're on the right track. We just got to just commit and go before you're ready. That's my advice.
Is there anybody you would love to work with on this project? Somebody who has power or has influence?
Yes. Take it away, little miss.
Well, so our dream is to partner with Reese Witherspoon's company to do this. Yes. She has a production.
I love that.
Called Hello Sunshine, and it's all about creating stories for women, by women, and starring women. And so all of the movies and TV series she puts out are all of these stories for people that are
for the girlies.
Yeah, for the people that have been like misrepresented in media, and then on top of that, I was telling Kat about that very early on in this process, and how she's just a huge mentor and like inspiration of mine. And then Kat
she's in NFTs.
She's
loves NFTs.
That's fine.
Yeah. And so we were talking about it, and I was like, that's crazy, because she's really big in the NFT space. And so there's this similar, meeting of worlds that Reese Witherspoon has.
Are you gonna try to read?
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep talking. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Well, Delaney looks like she could be her daughter. So, and so we're like, yeah, that's the dream. Is to end up having it be produced by Reese.
Maybe say something about.
So are you?
Oh yeah. So she also partnered with one of the biggest NFT projects known, called World of Women. And so it's the World of Women collection, and it was done to tell women's stories and narratives. And so Reese had a really heavy hand in that. And so we're like, wow, and we were very much inspired by the World of Women collection as well for our NFTs. So the dream would be to partner, with Reese and also the World of Women collection, and really get this thing off the ground and get this story told once and for all.
Okay, so I'm going to put out a call, like anybody who knows Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
Please. I do. You know what? You've been meeting the people you're supposed to meet along the way. You've already met each other. You've met your musical director. You've had some great success already. Pat yourselves on the back. Have fun along the way. Don't forget the fun.
Definitely.
And is there anything else you girls want to say or comment on or talk about?
Well, I mean, this is a spiritual podcast, so I can attest to you, Mom. I think follow the signs. There were so many things that happened to me that didn't make sense, that I was, the whole reason this came about was because of some pretty gnarly things. And I think had I have known the beauty that would have come with that, I would have had a much different lens. And some of the worst things that have ever happened to me have led to some of the best. And so you never know where life's going to take you, where those down moments are going to go. But I think follow your intuition, have faith. And I think it ends up being better than you could have written it yourself if you had the chance.
I always feel if you don't have darkness, sometimes you will not grow, and the darkness will bring you to your light. So with that, Delaney, what do you have to say at the end here?
I just believe that so wholeheartedly. I mean, same thing. The things that have led me to this moment are things that I thought were going to be the most devastating experiences I've ever had to go through. And everything that's happened to me like that, I have always looked back and say, thank God that happened, because it's made me who I am right now. And that is Well,
and I think you guys are going to do well. And anytime you get lemons make lemonade, as I always say. And any challenge you have, always know that something better is going to come out of it because of that challenge. And you're meant to face it head on and don't get discouraged. So I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm excited for you both. I really, really appreciate talking to both of you today. Delaney, have fun with Sweeney Todd. I wish I could come out and see you do it. I think it'd be wonderful.
Thank you. It'll be quick. It's just 3 weeks.
It's going to fly by.
Yeah.
So listen, thank you so much. I'm going to be putting this on my YouTube, on my Spotify, and on my pages. And we're going to also promote, I'd like you to send me that first song so we can have it playing in the background when we introduce.
Definitely.
So I love that song. I sing it now and then now. It's like, oh,
you're going to love Safe too.
Oh yeah. We're recording our second song today. Right
after this. We're running to
what's it called?
Safe.
It's
really sad, but it's really
beautiful. It's tragic.
And Delaney is like, I get like teary eyed every time.
Bring my Kleenex. I'm going to bring my Kleenex to the party. And I look forward to seeing what happens. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And safe travels. Have fun. Be safe in LA, you two girls. I know how dangerous it is there.
You never know.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Carm.
Okay, you have a great rest of your July 4th weekend.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Break a leg.
Been in love with someone, but you knew being together with them was bad for them, so even though you loved them so much, you couldn't be with them.
Well, we wrote a song about that, and it's from the perspective of Medusa. So follow us to see our journey with Stone Cold Art Music.
Don't wanna leave you here, but loving me